All right, so we're right at the top of the hour here again, which might be different depending on where you are, but we can go ahead and get started. So thanks for joining us for navigating events and transitioning to new platforms presentation. Just a quick housekeeping notes for our session today. For the chat, you want to make sure that you are in the session tab, which is all the way on that right side of your screen. It says session, and then there's a chat feature where you can see some folks have answered that question. There's also a Q&A tab where you can put your questions during the presentation today, and then we have some time at the end to answer those for you. So if you have questions, put them in the Q&A as we go through the session. And then I wanted to introduce our presenter today to you. Do you want to advance the slide? There we go. So this is Lindsey Reinstrom. She is the Associate Director of Digital Strategy and Innovation Events at the University of Tennessee. And after moving to Knoxville, Tennessee in 2020, Lindsey began working at the University of Tennessee Foundation as a digital strategist. A few years later, she pivoted to a more technical role with a focus on event management tools and their integration with Salesforce. Lindsey is currently studying for her Salesforce admin certification, oversees a digital engagement platforms listserv, which I just recently joined, so check it out, and stays mostly sane by running marathons. Take it away, Lindsey.
Thank you, Jackie. Good afternoon from Knoxville, Tennessee. I will be discussing, as Jackie said, the University of Tennessee Foundation's transition to and implementation of new platforms using Blackthorn Events as my primary example. This session's agenda will include the following: a high-level overview of the University of Tennessee Foundation and its mission and its transition to 6 new platforms, the before, during, otherwise known as go live, and after timelines and processes surrounding the platform launches, and then a Q&A. So a little bit about the UT Foundation, for those of you who know or don't know. The mission of the UT Foundation, or UTFI, is to raise financial, public, and political support for the University of Tennessee system. We support 5 campuses and 3 institutes, including our flagship campus in Knoxville, UT Chattanooga, UT Martin, the UT Health Science Center in Memphis, and our newest edition of UT Southern in Pulaski. We have an alumni base of nearly 496,000 graduates, some with degrees from multiple UT campuses. UTFI's now 10-member Digital Strategy and Innovation, DSI, team is housed within Central Advancement Services, and we support advancement offices across the state by administering and working in the platforms that power event registrations, online giving, email marketing, forums, and website content management. From 2011 to 2024, UTFI had used Anthology's Encompass, formerly iModule's platform, an all-in-one solution that contained each of these tools. We maintained 7 Encompass subcommunities with data running daily to our CRM, which was Ellucian Advance. With a goal of modernizing our user experience and internal processes, UTFI kicked off a CRM implementation in November of 2022 with a go-live date slated for February 29th, 2024 to Kindsight Ascend. Our team was tasked with managing the integration of 5 new tools, which you can see on the screen: Blackthorn Events, GiveCampus, FormStack, WordPress, and Salesforce Marketing Cloud to replace Encompass. All of these launched concurrently. Let's talk timeline, using Blackthorn Events as my primary example. In the summer of 2023, change management, pinpointing team member roles and responsibilities, legacy system archives. We archive past examples to reference in the future. Heading into the fall of 2023, documenting everything, old and new, building standardized templates to use moving forward. Right around go live time in February of 2024, training and onboarding. How do we teach other users the platform? establishing new intake request forms for our campus partners to utilize, and reporting, making sure an overall event registration report template was ready. Post go live, summer of 2024, the data, loading historic event data into Blackthorn and syncing Blackthorn data to our Ascend CRM, creating custom fields that led to better reporting and additional report templates. And now from fall 2024 to present, even through today, expanding our range by implementing additional functionality. Now that we have everything up and running, we continuously strive to incorporate more features to take our events to the next level. We utilize different UIs and create custom flows to provide a better all-around experience for our back-end builders, constituent management team, campus partner event organizers, and end users. The great before. We're going to focus on the process. This is at least 6 months prior to go live, with the majority of work beginning roughly around summer of 2023 and continuing through fall of 2023. In the summer, following decisions regarding change management, who on the team is going to hold what role or responsibilities, I was designated the Blackthorn lead. I began in the sandbox environment testing features and functionality. Then time to archive. We take inventory this summer of practically everything from our soon-to-be legacy system of Anthology and Compass. For events specifically, this was done so we could reference legacy registration elements in the future, compare legacy registration elements with Blackthorn Events elements, what's similar, what is different, what are former workarounds, what are future workarounds, create a functionality wish list with reasons behind various elements. What do we want to achieve and why? Heading into the fall 2023 season, documentation becomes daily tasks. I create event templates, all using the tabbed UI, which is the image at the top, that become the basis for all other platform users to clone. In creating event templates, I built out more granular sub-templates for each campus, such as event groups, forms, and event settings. I also created branded email confirmation templates and naming conventions to start and keep all event names standardized. In addition, I reached out to our various campus and unit contacts to request any expected spring 2024 events. Highly recommend doing this at least twice per calendar or fiscal year. This was specifically to ask for desired registration open dates, event start and end dates, free versus paid ticket types, etc. And these expected communications ultimately led to starting a master event spreadsheet, which is the image on the bottom left, an initial version, to house every event that would be created in Blackthorn. That initial spreadsheet only had a few columns, as you can see, but it provided, and still to this day provides, a complete event log that can be referenced as needed. Lastly, we notified our campus partners in November of a system-wide pause in all event registrations planned for a full 2 weeks prior to go live on February 29th. While this was a challenge and the planned pause did receive some pushback, the outcome was worth it because it gave us more time dedicated solely to Blackthorn. Go live. Focus on the people. As we barreled toward our go live date of February 29th, 2024, we saw a shift from silo documentation to shared documentation and a focus on how colleagues and contacts outside of our team, DSI, could coordinate with us in utilizing Blackthorn. In order to shift our energy and resources to helping our partners accomplish this, we had to put that pause on all event registrations. All event registrations in Encompass closed by February 14th, and no Blackthorn registrations would open until March 1st or later. During the blackout period, as we called it, I concentrated on the training and onboarding. How do we teach other users, to utilize the platform and learn the backend processes? And what about our event organizers, those who would be submitting event requests? First, let's talk about the event builders. Incorporating the Blackthorn documentation online, I compiled initial step-by-step training to demonstrate how to build out an event by cloning a campus-specific template. In the earliest training iterations, I found that Scribe, which is the image on the left, was an effective tool for making a visual guide connecting text instructions with screenshots. The Scribe series was instrumental for the event builders in training to learn the ropes. Next, what about our campus partners, the people who would be organizing events and would require online registrations built according to their needs? Based on our past intake forms, the DSI team created new platform-specific intake request forms for campus partners to utilize. You can see a partial event request drop form in the image on the right, where the event organizer filled out multiple pieces of information and all of the information that an event builder could possibly need, from category to registration start and end dates to using mobile check-in. The job form intake request works well because it uses conditional logic to only display fields relevant to the event type the organizer is submitting. This job form request also connects to Trello, which acts as our project management tool, and we use job form to this day for all of our platform intake requests. Another crucial element for our event builders to create and event organizers to reference was reporting. Making sure at least one overall event registration report template was ready to go and contained crucial registrant information was a must. Our campus partners use registration reports not only to get final registration counts, but also to pull details about main and guests, their name tags, meal selections, preferred college, class years, etc. Our initial report template took a few tries to get just right. The key was in making a joined report, which pulls in fields from multiple objects, such as what ticket item or items the registrant purchased, if an optional donation was made, additional sessions selected, and any form submission answers. After the chaos that was go live, from the summer of 2024 onward, we moved into a focus on the data. Good data is paramount, which we all know. While we certainly had completed some data initiatives before and during the platform launch, now that all the processes for people were in place, it was time to go all in on data mapping. Creating and using more matching duplicate rules, we connected more attendee records to contact records in Ascend. But what about historic event data? We had some event attendee data just hanging out in the void after the transition to Blackthorn, and we needed that to flow into our CRM. So we used event shells, empty events, and the dataloader.io to upload that historic engagement to Blackthorn, which in turn synced to contact records in Ascend. We also built numerous custom fields on the attendee object within Blackthorn, pulling in form submission answers into a single line in the registration report, making it much easier for event organizers to extract information. After navigating simple and joined report templates, setting up additional object-specific custom reports became much easier. Now we have reports for everything from event attendees with contact, primary relationship manager, and giving history to drill down event attendees' line items and discount codes, housing more granular payment-related details. And we can subscribe users to receive the reports on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Where are we now? From the fall of 2024 to today, we continue to bolster our free, paid, simple, and complex events with a variety of additional features. More product features means expanding our event models. We now regularly incorporate dynamic UI as well as the mobile check-in app, which is the image on the right, for use on site, follow up with post-event surveys to garner attendee feedback, apply discount codes to paid event items to provide complimentary tickets to faculty and staff and other audience. We keep an eye on Blackthorn's product roadmap and releases so we can gauge the best times to upgrade our packages and deliver exciting features such as these to our event builders, organizers, and registrants. Last but not least, flows. In a nutshell, we now construct flows for a variety of reasons, from syncing information between objects and triggering receipt emails to mimicking simple yes-no RSVP functionality, which is the flow image on the left, and allowing for on-site walk-ups who will automatically be marked as attended. These are just a few of the flows that we've created after go live. The DSI team also recently initiated a digital engagement platforms listserv for higher education professionals involved in or supporting any of the digital tools that we use, including Blackthorn, and those that we don't. We're always looking to connect, and this is a great way to share best practices, troubleshoot issues, swap ideas, and build community. If you're interested in joining, feel free to reach out at any time. And that's it from me, but I cannot get to the next slide in my slide deck.
I know. Was this the last slide though?
That was the last slide. Now we are on to Q&A.
Q&A. Yeah. So we have about 5 minutes left. So feel free to add your Q&A in the Q&A tab. I do see there is one question in the chat here that was just asking about there it is, Q&A slide. Sage had a question here about the ease of use for registrations with Blackthorn. So if someone needs to sign up and bring multiple guests, they've heard that's a cumbersome process. Have you encountered that? Do you have any strategies for making event registration easier for your folks coming to events?
Yes. So the great news is that if you want to bring guests to an event and are using Blackthorn, if it depends on how much information that you do want to require from guests, we found that making a lot of fields optional or just removing those fields altogether, that makes it a lot easier if we can have less of those fields. It is possible to also, I'm seeing this in the chat as well, same question is if they have to bring multiple guests and change their registration date, they can edit attendee information if you enable that within the settings for that event. However, you can't go in and change a registration date. So that is one area where we could definitely use some changes there. But if they have to start all over again, and again, this is coming from someone who we're working primarily with alumni and donors. And so something like orientation dates are not something that we typically work with. But we do also have events set up where it could be someone could select from a variety of dates within a drop-down pick list question from the form that's attached to the event items.
Some other questions here. Are you able to match your attendees' guests to your constituent records?
That's a great question. If the attendee's guest is a constituent in our system already, then they can be mapped. Say it's a spouse that we do have already in our Ascend CRM, then that person can be matched based on the email address that is put in during the registration process. However, if that email is not on that constituent record, or they put in a bad email, something like that, then that person wouldn't be matched. However, we do allow for later an event organizer or can go into the event itself and manually attach a contact that way in case some contact matching was missed during the registration process.
Thanks, Lindsey. I see another question in the Q&A here. Does your implementation for events include sub-events like academic appointments or honors program envoy meetings? So sub-events that require coordination and communication with other campus offices.
So I would say that our version within the foundation for something that would include sub-events would be kind of an overarching, like an example would be an alumni weekend or a homecoming where sessions would be the additional activities that the registrant could choose for themselves and or the guest. But I wouldn't say we'd have like a parent event and then sub-events from there. But our use case, which we do have the functionality for in Blackthorn, is having something, like I said, of that homecoming or alumni reunion situation where they might pay an overall price for the event itself with additional potential add-ons and activities like that would span the weekend.
Great. We have 1 minute left. We have one final question. Now that you're on the other side, what's one thing you wish you could have done differently during implementation?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I think I would have reached out to other institutions or universities that were using Blackthorn, or I think I would have reached out to them earlier in that implementation process to kind of have them walk me through what their intake looked like or what their process was for building events, because their use cases are generally pretty similar to ours. And so that's something I definitely would recommend if you are implementing, to reach out to other institutions or universities that use the similar platforms that you have and get their take on it.
Great advice. Yeah. Well, thank you, Lindsey, and thank you everyone for joining. We're right at time here, so hope you have an opportunity to check out some next great sessions coming up on the event. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.